Katherine Knight. Katherine Knight had a well-documented history of being just a little bit insane. It all started when she tried to strangle her first husband on their wedding night for only having sex with her 3 times before falling asleep. When he finally left her, Knight took their infant daughter and dropped her on a stretch of nearby train tracks. Luckily, the baby was rescued by a homeless man. Katherine, however, was not done. She continued to rampage through the town and threatened random strangers with an axe. Because this wasn't enough, she later went on another rampage and managed to slash a woman's face and forced her to drive her to a gas station where Knight took a little boy hostage until the police arrived and beat her into submission with brooms. But all of this was child's play compared to what she would eventually do to her husband, John Price. Knight eventually met a father of 3 named John Price, and they moved in together, despite the fact that Price was very aware of her history. Price wound up kicking her out and even filed a restraining order against her. He told his co-workers that if he ever failed to show up for work, it was because she killed him. However, he allowed Knight back into his house, and they slept together. He certainly learned his lesson, though, for letting her come back, because Knight stabbed him 37 times. When he didn't show up for work the next day, his co-workers called the police, who showed up at Price's house to discover that not only had he been murdered, but he had been skinned and beheaded. His body was lying on the living room floor, and his head was boiling in a pot on the stove. Pieces of his butt had been pan-fried with vegetables and gravy, and his skin, completely intact in a single sheet, was hooked in a doorway like a curtain. There were 2 place settings on the table where he was to be served, indicating that they were meant for Price's adult children. The kids were not expected, though, so this was part of some crazy fantasy of Knight. She pleaded guilty and was sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Her file says never to be released